At a time when trust in politicians seems to be at an all-time low, and fake news is at an all-time high. What place does truth and humility have in your life as a politician or a potential politician and in Parliament?
Thank you very much. I'm just going to repeat that time when trust in politicians seems to be at an all-time low and fake news at an all-time high. What place does truth and humility have in your lives as a politician and in Parliament? So this one, Mr. Jenrick, please.
Sure, well look, all you can do when you go into politics, and no politician is perfect, politicians are just members of the public who choose to stand for office, and I think that's an honourable thing. We want people to stand and put themselves forward in elections, but all you can do is be responsible for your own conduct and answerable to that. You and the other 75,000 people in this constituency will have to take a view on how I've behaved as a Member of Parliament over the last 5.5 years, but
what about your leader?
I'd like to think that I'm somebody who's worked hard, acted with integrity, got things done, and has worked on many different campaigns on a completely cross-party basis, worked with thousands of local people on important issues. My small team and I have taken up all manner of issues and do so, I hope, with compassion and courtesy. And I think that's all I can be held to account for, really. I can't be held to account for the actions of others. The biggest issue, as I said at the beginning of this debate, of trust in this country at the moment, I do believe, is the failure of Parliament to get Brexit done. I say that as somebody who didn't vote for Brexit in the referendum, but it is that which is so corrosive to public trust in politics. And I don't think we'll get to a better politics until we've got Brexit done and we can try to bring the country together again and end the current culture of division and dither and delay.
Okay, we're going to move on to Mr. Joe Henderson now on 3.
So I think that obviously the development of fake news is very disturbing. Clearly, we've always had propaganda and rhetoric, and that's always been an accepted part of politics. But to see sort of the digital development where you can fully fake a video and make somebody appear to be somebody else and say something in their place, that future, as that develops further and further and becomes easier and easier to do, is very disturbing, and it's worrying. If you want to be somebody who gets into politics and you do your best to be trustworthy and have integrity, that all of that can just be bulldozed by this fake news. And you can do your best to sort of win people's trust and do the best job you can, and then just see it eradicated like that. Unfortunately, on the local level, I've not had to experience that. Maybe Mr. Jenrick might do in the future. On the national level, you don't know. But in terms of democracy, we want to completely change it so that it is more accountable to people. We want to re-elect half of the councils every 2 years.
Just a few more seconds.
We introduce job shares for disabled people so they can get into office. So we're more accountable to you, and so you can really keep an eye on your politicians more than you ever have done before.
Thank you very much. Mr. Watts?
In this election, we've seen the Tories fake videos to make it seem that Keir Starmer and Jess Phillips couldn't answer the questions. We've seen them fake a website that claimed to be the Labour Party website.
Yes.
We've seen them fake a website to make it a truth checker. This is an absolute lack of integrity.
Absolutely.
And it comes from a Prime Minister who last week told us he has never told a lie.
Oh.
It probably was. Yeah, other than doing a stand-up line in comedy, I don't know what he thought he was saying. Boris Johnson, unfortunately, is a habitual liar, and anyone who chooses to work with him risks being tarred with the same brush.
Absolutely.
What I will do... What I will do on an individual level, and I speak as a practicing Christian, so for me, truth and humility are, I hope, very much a part of my lifestyle. I will be utterly accountable to you. I will not guarantee that I will get everything right, I will promise you, I will not tell you a distruth, an untruth. It is not in my nature, and will not do it.
Thank you, Mr. Ross. Okay, Mr. Baggaley.
First of all, don't elect a Prime Minister that has been shown to be a habitual liar. He was sacked by his own party the first time around the line, and he's done it time and time again.
I'm sacked by jobs.
First, I think there's a really key thing about changing the way we do politics. Wherever I've gone, it doesn't matter if they're voting Labour or if they're not voting or if they're voting another way. They've said our politics is broken, and I think that's really about making sure that we don't just turn up here at election time, but that we actually are in the community, actually talking to people, actually embedded within the community, that we actually start electing people from the community that have an understanding of the community, and that don't just turn up, as I say, at election time. And it's why I've said, and what we said about changing the way which we do politics, about actually making sure that our MPs are actually in the area, talking on local issues. And that's really key, because people are losing faith in our democracy. And the way to change that is to make sure we elect politicians who are actually embedded and know the community.
Okay, thank you very much.